Hello everyone, welcome into Fatty's Feast, where we make the best food you'll ever eat without leaving your backyard. My name is Josh. Today we're gonna be whipping up some delicious, spicy Nashville hot chicken. But instead of frying it up the traditional way, we're gonna throw it on the smoker and see if we can get even better results. Let's get started. Yeah, now I know, what do I, a Connecticut born and raised and lived here all my life boy, know about Nashville hot chicken? Well, I've been to Nashville quite a few times, specifically this year, and honestly, it's my goal in the next year to try and relocate down there. So I've had Nashville hot chicken quite a few times within the last year. The flavors are still there in my mouth. I know what I'm looking for. Now, typically the chicken they make down in Nashville is usually breaded. It's soaked in a buttermilk mixture that has some spices in it. It's fried and then coated in a sauce. But like I said, today we're gonna be trying something a little bit different. We're gonna try and smoke it and see if we can get even better results. Now, obviously, that being said, I'm not soaking it in a buttermilk mixture. I'm not breading it. I'm not frying it. And instead of breasts, I am going to be using trusty old chicken thighs, bone in. Now, a lot of people aren't a fan of chicken thighs. They're not a desirable cut. They have bones in them. They're dark meat. But I'm telling you, if you've never tried smoking chicken thighs, you're really missing out. Personally, I don't have any interest in grilling them. I don't eat them any other way unless they're smoked. And I did a video a while back doing traditional barbecue chicken thighs. I'll put a link here. But today we're focused on the Nashville hot chicken, so let's get the recipe started. First up, gotta make us a rub. These Kirkland bottles are great for storing rubs. This is just a coarse ground black pepper bottle that has just about the amount I need for this rub. So I'm gonna be using this and just adding to it. Right now I have probably about 2 tablespoons of black pepper in there. Funnel. Now the main ingredient in this mixture is cayenne pepper, so I have a 1/2 cup here. Next up, we have about 1/8 cup of kosher salt, 1, 2, and 1/2 tablespoons. Dry mustard powder, 1 and 1/2, I flipped those, tablespoons of sugar, 1 and 1/2 tablespoons paprika, and lastly 1 tablespoon granulated garlic. God, I can't talk. Look at that, give it a nice shakeroo. And because all my rubs are red, take a marker, label that Nash on every side, because I don't want to confuse this with my brisket rub. Next, we'll just liberally coat our chicken. Make sure you're really stirring this as you go, because that salt and all those spices need to be equally incorporated. I'm doing a total of 12 chicken breasts today, or excuse me, chicken thighs. And we're gonna do a pretty good coating on these. These are gonna be spicy. They're not for the faint of heart. So if you don't like spicy, this is probably not the recipe for you. Just doing a very rough coating right now. I can get the rest later on. And notice I'm not using a binder. These chicken thighs are pretty well moist already. I'm trying to keep that skin intact too, because we want that to crisp up. Just want to make sure I get all sides of this. And there we go. It's looking pretty good. Evenly seasoned on all sides for the most part. I'm gonna let these rest in the fridge while I do the rest, and then we'll come back and throw them on the smoker. So these have been sitting in my fridge for about a 1/2 hour or so. So I'm just gonna evenly space these out. Notice there are some barer spots with the seasoning. That's okay, because these will shrink up and crisp up a little bit. And these guys are the thicker ones, so I'm putting these toward the front. It should be noted I did a little bit of extra seasoning on the top just before I threw them in the fridge. I'm using a water pan today, right in front. And we'll shut her down. So this is going to be a quicker smoke. Therefore, I want to try to get as much smoke flavor on these as possible in the shortest amount of time. Now, to do that, I cut up some hickory. Now, I typically don't use hickory, and the reason is it has a stronger smoke flavor. It burns a little hotter than your typical oak or your maple. And I talk more about that in my wood choice video. What is the best wood for you to use in your offset smoker? You can check that video out here. But I'm gonna start this cook with oak, and I'm gonna go low and slow, probably around 225, 250. We're gonna let these go for about 2 hours just to really get some good smoke flavor on these. And then we'll come back, see if we need to reposition any of them, see how they're cooking. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. I envision this cook taking about 3 to 4 hours. And also, while I have your attention, notice I said I cut up some more wood. I typically have a stockpile of wood, but I don't have that right now. And the reason is I will be borrowing a smoker to trial over the winter months. Now, I don't want to give too many details away, but it is a much heftier smoker than my Brazos. I'm really excited to try it out, and actually the next video after this one is going to be my initial thoughts and impressions of the smoker, a nice walkthrough. I'll go over all the features. So stay tuned for that. I'll put a link here and in the description so you can check that out after this video. So I'll see you guys in about 2 hours. We'll see where we're at. And after 2 hours, here is where we're at. So let's whip out our handy dandy thermopen, take a temp. Been temping these as we go along, got some good juices coming out. We're at 168, 143, 151 over here. Our back ones are around 150. And even this bad boy back here, the smallest one's 140, 153, 154. So we got some pullback on the skin here. That's looking nice. We got some juices running out. Those are not clear, but also keep in mind that we have some very heavy cayenne seasoning on here, so that has something to do with it. Now, I've been running the temps a little bit higher than I normally would, so about 250-ish. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna bump the temps up to around 275 to 300. And the reason for that is I really wanna get a crispy skin on these bad boys. We've been burning a very clean fire. It's been going very well. Temps have been very even, and you saw that even these thick boys up here are not that much different from the ones in back. And because those are thicker, I'm actually gonna leave them in front. I don't mind if those are done first. I wanna keep these smaller ones back here. If we get toward the end and I realize, oh my God, they're really heating up quicker, I will move them, but I don't think that's gonna be an issue. Now, something to note is we still have about an hour to an hour and a half left of this cook when you take into account the saucing process, which we're gonna do. And you might be asking why I'm gonna bump these temperatures up so high. Well, the reason for that is with chicken thighs, we wanna cook them to an internal temp of about 175 to 180. If you were doing chicken breasts, 160 is probably when I'd pull them off, even though 165 is the internal temp you want them, but you want to allow them to rest a little bit. But because these are bone-in, dark meat chicken thighs, we're gonna cook them to about 175, 180. So let's bump up our temps, and then when we get to that point, we're going to sauce them. Just open this up a little bit, and there we go. Nice roaring fire. All right, let's make a sauce. 1 stick of butter. We're gonna throw a good amount of this hot sauce down. This is just Aldi hot sauce. More enough to coat the chicken. Next, we're gonna throw some agave down. You can do just honey if you want, but Aldi didn't have honey, so I'm doing that. This is gonna add a little bit of sweetness to our chicken to offset that spice. Next, a little bit of paprika, just like we did before. And then why not kick it up with some more cayenne, because it's not hot enough already. Our chicken is up to temp to sauce this now, so we're just gonna let this sit on the firebox of the smoker. This is a great feature of this smoker. I'm just gonna mix this butter and get it all incorporated, and then we will sauce it up. And after 4 hours, we got some beautiful thighs. These bad boys are ready to be glazed. The skin is nice and crispy. We're looking at internal temps going into 190. They're not overcooked, they're still very juicy. 189, got this fire going nice and hot. Let's glaze these bad boys up. So I'm gonna set my tray right down here, and all I'm gonna do is one by one, coat them in this glaze. Don't have to worry about the bark falling off because it's already set. Now, something to note is I did add a little more hot sauce and all that good stuff to this. I might have to add a little more, I'm not really sure yet. This is a very easy way to quickly coat your chicken in a glaze. And when you're done, you just drip the excess off, put them back on. Now, in my last video where I did the armadillo eggs, I didn't do this because I only had 6 of them. But if you're doing something like this with chicken thighs, you want something efficient. You want to be able to do this very quickly without taking up too much of your time. And this is the best way to do it. Look how even that is. It's beautiful. So I'm just going to do this with all of them. I think I'll have enough. Actually, I definitely will have enough as I just splatter it everywhere. And then we will put these back on, let them sit for, I don't know, maybe about 20 minutes or so. Just let the glaze set in. And then, ladies and gentlemen, look at that. Beautiful. We'll do our taste test. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm just going to do a little bit of a dab over the top of all these because I have so much extra. So don't make as much as I did. And there we go. That looks good. Now we'll come back in 30 minutes and do our taste test. All right, so I think this took about 4 hours, and we're at a good spot. The sauce thickened. Everything looks great. I am so ready to give this a taste test. The cutting didn't work that well, but we got some nice steam. That dark meat just falling apart. Let's give it a try. Okay, so I don't get the heat yet. Oh, now I am. I was going to say it's taking a second. It doesn't taste exactly like Nashville hot chicken, but it's taking a second to really kick in. That skin is crispy. The chicken itself has great flavor. Like I said, it's falling apart. Can't even hold on to it. The rub works very well, but that sauce with the sweetness from that agave, and like I said, you can use honey. That works a lot better, in my opinion. They just didn't have it. But that sauce with just the typical hot sauce plus the cayenne plus the paprika plus whatever else you want to add, that works very well. I love this. I could just eat the skin. I'm gonna. It tastes that good. And that's people's gripe with chicken thighs is that the skin, it's not skinless, it's dark meat. But if you put it on the smoker and you do it well, you're gonna have a great time. Oh my God. Fuck. I missed my mouth. Is it as good as traditional Nashville hot chicken? No, I don't think so, because I think that with the buttermilk mixture and the breading, and you take that bite and you fry it up, it's gonna transform you to another world. But is it as good as chicken thighs on a smoker? Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do it this way, you're not gonna be disappointed. It has the same spice, I would say, but I would take traditional Nashville hot chicken any day, and I'll probably do a video on that. If I do, I'll post it here. We'll see what happens. But you can't go wrong with this. If you want the flavor of Nashville hot chicken, and just look at that. Oh, love that. Just falls right apart. Would I do this recipe again? Absolutely. I got some extra sauce here in case any of my boys over there want it. They're off camera because they don't want to be on camera because they suck. But this is really, really good. With that being said, I hope you liked today's video. If you did, please smash that like button. Get my content out to more people. Leave a comment on things you want to see me make on my smoker. I'd love to hear from you guys. Over here, I'm going to put a video that is specifically designed for you. You're going to love it. And over here, I'm going to put my smoker chicken playlist. You can see me cook some more chicken breasts and thighs and all that good stuff. Right in the middle, subscribe if you love me so much. And until next time, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay tummy.